so much for joining us today. I also want to say welcome to the viewers that are viewing online. Thank you for tuning in. And now for our program, we have Vic Jacobs to make the introduction. Vic has been a member since April of 2003, is with Tierra Antigua Real Estate. And I don't know if you guys know this, but she has been very involved in our Rotary Youth Exchange program. Also has been a host mom. So please help me welcome Vic.
Good morning, everyone. So today, our great speaker graduated with a degree in art and English from UCLA. Last year, she moved here from Texas, and currently she is the Interim Executive Director and Curator of MoCA, our Modern Art Museum downtown. So today we are lucky, Tucson is lucky, we are lucky to have our speaker, Laurel Copeland. Just gonna zoom in. All right.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? Wonderful. It's so nice to be with you all here. I can't see you, unfortunately, but I can feel you from afar. Like Vicki said, thank you for the kind introduction and for the invitation to come and speak today. My name is Laura Copeland, and I'm the Executive Director and Curator at MoCA in this interim period. And we have so many exciting things going on at MoCA. I hope many of you have visited previously. And if you haven't, the museum is currently physically closed in terms of our interior space because of COVID and the pandemic. But we actually have just mounted a new installation on the front of the museum that is a new commission from an artist named Jibide Khalil Huffman. And it is going to be on view and visible from this moment through the beginning of October, through the very beginning of October, end of September. So when we'll open a fall exhibition that will be in our Great Hall space, which is where the fire engines used to be. So I wanted to just take this opportunity today to speak to you all about MoCA and to talk to you just briefly about our history and our program. And I'm going to keep myself on time here so that we can take some questions at the end. But for those of you who aren't familiar, we'll go through a little bit of MoCA's history and what our current offerings are. And then I'll tell you a little bit about the future. And I think what I wanted to focus on too, especially if any of you have any questions about this, is just how essential museums are for our public life. And how important artists are, I think, especially in moments like we find ourselves in today. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen with you all. Just give me one moment. There we go. Oops. All right, here we are, and I'll make this bigger for everyone. So, our mission statement. MoCA inspires new ways of thinking through the cultivation, exhibition, and interpretation of contemporary art. So we are Tucson's only museum that's focused specifically on living artists and contemporary art. And to me, what that means is being not a collection of objects, but a collection of ideas. So the museum itself, is housed in this old firehouse, and what we've, I think, become noted for, in our past exhibitions and also in some of the things that we're aiming to do in the future, is thinking about contemporary culture and trying to make a space to present new ideas with artists that are relevant to the issues that we face in the moment today. So MOCA is unique in that it was established by artists. So we really are artist-centric. We want to support artist visions, we want to support new work by artists, we want artists to educate, to help educate our audiences, which include students, seniors, everyone in between. We really pride ourselves on having kind of an intergenerational and intersectional program. And we want to use contemporary art as a tool to think about the ethics and the aesthetics of our contemporary life. Ever since the pandemic, that specifically has meant kind of moving online. So many of our programs are adapted now to an online format. And this installation that I was mentioning before is specifically adapted to kind of be socially distance friendly and accessible, 24/7 really. If you all haven't had a chance to see it yet, I would recommend driving by after dark. It's much cooler at that point, and you're invited to come up onto the courtyard and to hear the sound piece that goes along with the video and the vinyl collage. If you come and visit us during the day, you'll probably just hear the sound and see the collage. There's actually a video projection that happens behind the installation as well. I would really encourage all of you to see it. It's an ambitious new commission from this artist who is really thinking about a lot of really resonant issues. So MOCA is Tucson's primary educational resource for contemporary art, and we have several different avenues that our education program operates through. And I'm going to show you a little video kind of at the end of this talk, just so you can get a sampling of some of the programming offerings that we provide to the community. It's everything from going into Title I schools to having very, on a broad scale, serving almost, from 5,000 to 7,000 children in Tucson, all the way to having intimate groups of teenagers and seniors come together in our Stay Gold program, which promotes intergenerational learning and creativity. So we have a really incredible education director and a lot of really rich education program that uses contemporary art as a way to think about critical skills, our current moment, build on curriculum in classrooms, and really offer creativity to people of all ages and all stages in their education. MOCA really is comprised of these 4 pillars. So we have our visual arts exhibitions, we have our education programs, we have public programs that we offer to the community at large, and we have a resident artist in residency program. Actually, very interestingly, maybe some of you had seen this on Arizona Illustrated, but we had an artist in residence that was with us just before the pandemic and ended up staying in Tucson for almost 5 months. I think he actually may still be here, not in MOCA's building, but he was determined not to go back to New York City during the pandemic, and so even our residency program has sort of adapted to this moment. So if you have visited MOCA before, I just wanted to highlight a few different exhibitions that we've done that kind of stand out in people's minds. So we had one of the projects that I find most interesting was this collaboration with Aranda Lash, an architecture studio, and Terrell Dew Johnson called Meeting the Clouds Halfway, that sort of unifies this understanding and exploration of architecture and also indigenous craft and weaving specifically. So it really looks at Tucson in the landscape here in a really dynamic way, and explores shapes and forms that are very resonant in our landscape. And that's something that I aspire to continue in the programming that we have coming up, is really focusing on exposing artists to what makes Tucson so special on the Sonoran Desert in this region so intriguing, and also exposing our audiences here in Tucson to ideas from the larger national and international art world. And I think that's kind of a bridge that MoCA is able to build that's really unique in this town. Here's another installation shot of that exhibition, and this is our Great Hall, as I've mentioned, which used to house the fire trucks. We also have, we've actually done an exhibition with a really amazing artist, Nicole Miller, in 2016, who was going to be engaged for our October fall exhibition that's opening October 3rd. And that exhibition will kind of only be in that Great Hall space to allow for safety and circulation, and we'll basically be kind of raising up all the doors. And just so you all know, the museum will be, as a kind of a gesture towards the community, will be free for the entire fall season, just to welcome people back into our space and to ensure that people can have a physical experience with artwork that's not just mediated by the digital. But one of the artists in this group show that will open in the fall is Nicole Miller. And Nicole actually grew up in Tucson, and she works in documentary style film. But she uses film as a way to kind of lyrically portray portraits of people and to think really carefully about dynamics of race, class, education, issues, again, that are so relevant right now and always. And Nicole recently was commissioned by SF MoMA, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, to do a permanent video in their education department that profiled children from the Bay Area that wouldn't normally visit the museum, and created kind of an entire installation around welcoming these students with a film into the museum space. So that major commission from SF MoMA was fairly recent, and what we're hoping to do at MoCA is to show that piece, which is called To the Stars, a film piece, as a public program at some point this fall. We'll also be showing a new commission from Nicole in that fall show. So that's why one of the reasons I wanted to kind of show some of the images of her films being displayed in the museum. Because she's just really an exceptional artist who has deep roots here in Tucson and who we're continuing to work with. Another project that many of you may be familiar with, it's sort of infamous at this point, are these dumpster pools, swimming pools that were set up in MoCA's Great Hall. So the Great Hall has been used for a number of different installations, and this is a very different one. And what happened was during the summer, there was this impetus to give people a place to swim. and we worked with a development firm and an architect to present these kind of installation artworks where they were safe enough for people to go and to kind of take a swim in the museum space in the middle of the summer. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. So that was in 2015, but I still hear stories from people who swam in the dumpster pools and fell in love with that project. So really, museums can offer so much, I think, to audiences, from fun in this capacity to really difficult conversations about like I said, race and racism and economic inequality. And so there's just this spectrum of conversations and experiences that I think people have in museums, specifically with contemporary art, that are really significant and help us change the way that we see the world, add to that. These are also images from the Great Hall, looking very different, where we had a large group show that showed kind of Tucson's relationship to the world. So artists, again, with roots in Tucson or who have been here, trained here in some capacity, that showed work in this Made in Tucson, Born in Tucson, Lived in Tucson group show in 2010. And then more recently, over the winter, before we had to close for COVID, during the pandemic, we had put on a major solo show from a painter, Amir Farah, that I hope you all got to see. That was from January through March of this past year. And it was Amir's first kind of retrospective or large-scale exhibition. And Amir is a really significant Iranian-American artist whose paintings have been featured, across the country, and MoCA was able to not only show existing and new work together and give him this retrospective, but also to produce a book that is now available that surveys the spectrum of his work. So Amir is a very, very interesting artist, and MoCA afforded him this opportunity to kind of to have this retrospective. He also is the artist who has the mural on the side of MoCA. If you've ever kind of turned the corner on the colored mural, and that's Amir's work. So he's kind of done this public work a few years past that's on the outside of the building as well. That's very visible on the surface of the museum. Here's another view of that exhibition. And then the work that I've been talking about that's currently on view, this is the sort of rendering that goes across all of the front windows of MoCA. And it's an abstracted image from this artist, Khalil Huffman. What you see here is sort of fragments of a marching band at a historically Black college. And what Khalil does is he uses the form of the marching band and also the sounds of the marching band warming up to think about Black joy and resilience in the face of oppressive racism. The abstraction that you see in the image, these kind of topographical lines that interrupt the marching band, are the artist's way of kind of thinking about practices like segregation and redlining and body mapping and heat sensing that are often used kind of as weapons against people of color in this country. So it's a very abstract and open-ended piece and has a really interesting audio collage that goes with it. But this particular image, we were able to, the artist had been working on this image for about, a year and a half. And then, he often works in light boxes or in film and in photography, and it occurred to me that MoCA itself, with our big glass doors, roll-up doors, was a light box. So we proposed to him that, he do an installation on the front of the building and use the light source from inside as a way of kind of like creating a large-scale light box or collage, illuminated collage. And he said, oh my gosh, I have this image that I've been thinking about and working on, and I have videos and sound that goes with it, and I've been imagining it as an installation. And so what MoCA was able to do was help him realize that idea in very large scale, and very quickly. So that just opened 2 weeks ago, and there are some lovely images in the Arizona Star of the piece being installed. It was quite a process to install the work. And then I wanted to just play for you all, a little sampling of some of our education programs, which if you're not familiar, we have a few kids who have participated or people who have participated speak to the work, and I'll just skip our little intro and maybe the outro, but I wanted to give you guys all a sense of some of the different offerings that MoCA brings to the community. So let me play that, and then we can move to question and answers. Hold on 1 second. Hi.
Tucson, pioneering work we're doing with our education and programming. Those of you who are familiar with MoCA might already know that we have 7 different educational programs, all offered either free of charge or on a sliding scale. In this video, we give you a glimpse of each of these programs and highlight their unique contributions to our community.
So I participated in many art programs at MoCA. It's just a safe space for me to go to, just hang out, and make artwork, feel free.
This experience with Stable has made MoCA seem much more accessible to me
community. The intergenerational aspect of it to me made it far more enjoyable and interesting. The priority was more about creating community, and that turned out to be the greatest value for me.
Okay, we were very popular days. What's gonna happen?
Copeland is the perfect place to have educational programs that can be dynamic and that can expand and that can bring in lots of different people over time. For that to be free for everybody is really important to get people there and to help people be able to keep coming back.
My name is Emmy, and I went to the Fox program. I love it. It gave me the opportunity to build community, express myself through art and journey.
As you can see, our aim is not to duplicate what our partners and collaborators are doing, but to create innovative new programs that add to the rich arts fabric in our desert community. We acknowledge our unique region and value the varied number of diverse backgrounds, histories, and experiences present here. Our programs celebrate multivocal and intergenerational perspectives and build connections among them all. This vital community work.
All right. So that, I'm going to stop my share with that, and I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
This great microphone holder. Thanks to Marker.
Don't be shy.
Why don't you come over here so we get her in the background.
Hi, Laura. Great to have your presentation today. So, like how many different, you talked about you have classes for the young and you have classes for the aging, and how many classes do you have total?
We have several. So yeah, we have basically 7 different core education programs that we offer. And one thing that you didn't get to see in that video, that was really just our education programs. We also have several series that are public programs that are also educational, but are not necessarily geared towards students. So we have programs like Art Now, which is actually, I wanted to mention is coming up. So the artist that I mentioned that has the installation on the front of MoCA will be doing an Art Now presentation with us in mid-September. And Art Now is kind of our lecture series where we work with artists, curators, historians, to think about what artists are focused on and interested in at this moment and expand that on a public stage. And then the education programs, we have that quick list at the beginning of the video, but there's Satellite, which is our program that goes out into Tucson's public schools. And that's a really powerful program because we reach so many students. That's where we reach between 5,000 and 7,000 students in Pima County Title I schools. And what we do is we actually bring contemporary artists from Tucson into those schools to do art programming where there aren't so many resources for the arts. So MoCA actually, provides the materials, provides the artists, provides the curriculum that's specific to each grade level, and comes in and kind of offers students a way to explore their creativity and really think about some complicated and very stimulating topics. And then, our State Gold program, like I mentioned, that's actually happening right now. It's one of those sessions, which are generally 10-week sessions, is wrapping up, and we have about 25 people participating. They're a bit more intimate groups, and it's really tailored to LGBTQIA communities here in Tucson, and it has this intergenerational connection from teens all the way through seniors, and is generally led by a contemporary artist. So right now we have an artist named Asher Hartman who's leading that program, and the group is putting together a zine that's all about COVID and the effects of isolation on this community that is often very isolated. So that has been, that program, having that program move into a digital space has been kind of a lifeline for a lot of our participants. And one thing that I think is so special about some of these programs is that people have been attending them over and over for many years and many cycles of programming. Our Minor Mutiny and Young Foes program are both after-school programs for elementary school students and teens as a way of supplementing arts education. We have our amazing installation summer camp, which Arizona Illustrated also did a lovely piece on that program. That's great if you're interested in learning more about the summer camp. That it's like a 7-minute video, and it's a really beautiful profile, and it's just exciting to see how creative kids are and can be when they're given like a way to kind of build their own world and imagine their own world. We actually worked with the Children's Museum and with the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures this last summer to do our digital summer camp online. So that's just a small selection of the programs that we do, but we have several offerings at all times. Any other questions before we wrap up?
I want to thank you, Laura, for being here. And when will you be open for the location, having people in?
He wants to know when is Mocha going to be open?
Oh, okay, that's a great question. So, we're open right now for this installation, not our interior, but the exterior of Mocha. And like I said, if you're going to go and visit, go any day of the week. And I would just suggest going after sunset when it's gotten a bit darker, so around 8 or 9 p.m. is sort of ideal viewing time for that work. So that's up and open, without kind of time constraints. And then please join our mailing list for information on our upcoming programs and exhibitions. We're going to open our fall exhibition October 3rd. And we're having kind of a simultaneous membership drive, so it's likely that members will kind of get first access on October 3rd, and then on the 4th we'll be opening to the general public, and we'll probably, that opening weekend, be staggering visits just to keep everybody safe. So the best way to kind of stay up to date on what we have going on at Mocha is to join our mailing list. So it's very accessible on our website, which is mochatucson.org. And I would just encourage you all, it's actually mocha-tucson.org. But if you just do a simple Google search, you'll find the museum and be able to sign up for our website, or sign up for our email list. All right, well, thank you, everybody. I'm so pleased to have been here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your meeting, and thank you again for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Laura. That was fantastic. You guys seem to offer incredible programs for a variety of people, so we'll have to get down there. We have a tradition in our club. We have our speakers sign a book that we donate to our Make Way for Books library, and the book we have for you to sign is called Splatter, which is apropos. I don't know how Adriana always finds the perfect book for us, but we'll get that to you to have it signed. So, now we begin our regular program. Okay, would you guys like to promote your business at an upcoming Rotary meeting? We have a wonderful opportunity for you to do just that. Become a meeting sponsor. Not only does that help promote your business, but it also helps the Rotary Club of Tucson. If this is something you're interested in, just go ahead and see Carrie or Dorina about it. For instance, today's meeting is brought to you by Contact One Call Center. We provide seamless human response for our customers, and we can do the same for you. on the weekend off-roading on her razor with her family and friends. So please join us up here. Chip.
Hi.
I always want to try to think of something witty to say, but lo and behold, I get up here and can't think of any. So hopefully, I want to say thank you to my sponsor, Ellie Patterson. Where's Ellie? She was here. Ellie! And then also my mentor, Irene Becker. So thank you very much, and for everybody to be so welcoming, and the fellowship that I've just experienced, just being here for this short little meeting. It's just been so wonderful as well. So thank you. I do have a check. And I just want to leave on one short note, which is a small little joke. That, what did the fish say when it hit the wall?
Damn.
Damn.
Happy birthday, Jim. Okay, you guys, we get to actually introduce a new member today, which is really exciting. So I need to bring up past President Bob Logan. It really doesn't need an introduction. Come on now. Member since 2008 with the U of A College of Science, and a man who continues to reign terror. I need one of those voice projector things. Wherever he goes.
Thank you, Jennifer. So in the longest history of new member introductions, Chris Dodge, I think it's maybe 9 or 10 months maybe. So that's what you're kind of a COVID member now too. So Chris is a well-established musician who brings his special talents to the Rotary Club of Tucson. And while this new member introduction is long overdue, we as a group are especially happy to welcome you to the Rotary Club of Tucson. Chris earned his bachelor's and his master's degree from the University of Arizona, and he studied with some of the greats, Jeff Haskell and Gary Cook. And Chris has a long and storied career in musical performing arts, which we have seen here, as a musician and as a manager. He was a principal percussionist. That's hitting drums, I think, right? Is that percussionist? With the Arizona Opera. Later on again, with the Arizona Opera, Chris held the position of orchestra manager for 15 years. He was a section musician, both percussion and keyboard, for the Tucson Symphony Orchestra. He was a musical director for both the Invisible Theater, and for those of you that remember up on Sabino Canyon Road, the Hidden Valley Inn. You remember the Hidden Valley Inn? Chris is a teacher and educator of some note in the music industry, acting as a director and faculty member for the Tucson High Jover Steel Drum Band. And you may recall, Chris brought Jover to the Rotary Club about 4 or 5 years ago, had a great concert watching those kids. Sadly, Jover was on the calendar during the end of my term. They were going to come in May, and they were a COVID casualty. Hopefully, you can bring Jover back when all this is done and gone. Finally, about 5 years ago, Chris formed his business, Chris Dodge Entertainment. We all saw just a small glimpse of this organization when he brought Catherine Burns and to our club earlier this year for a fantastic concert on the music of Carole King. You may remember that at the Doubletree. Was that fantastic or what? The Chris Dodge Entertainment Group creates arrangements and builds shows around certain themes, be it a Broadway show or a genre of specific artists like Ella Fitzgerald, Linda Ronstadt, Aretha Franklin, or the famous group Chicago. So to conclude, and pulled directly from his website, I thought it was appropriate for this introduction. And what it says on the end of his website or his about page is, as Chris Dodge Entertainment continues to grow, doing good things with good people. It remains his central mission. So with that, fellow Rotarians, please help me welcome Chris Dodge to the Rotary Club of Tucson.
I didn't know I get to speak. I didn't prepare anything, but I'll
Just say.
Or I can speak a lot. You tell me what. You know what? I'm super happy to be part of this community, and I think throughout my life, I've strived to be part of several communities, and I live in Tucson on purpose because I believe in the community here, and so I'm just happy and privileged to be part of this smaller community and our greater community as a whole. So thank you. I look forward to meeting more of you as time goes on.
This has been in my trunk for the last 7 months, so here you go.
Okay, Sergeant at Arms Gary. Howdy. What do we have going on today?
It looks like Paul Harris' presentation is up next. Scott on?
No, I think that got postponed.
Got it. Joe Daniszewski. Did I say that right?
That's good right there. There you go.
Good afternoon, Rotary!
Hey, good afternoon.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
Ready to sell those car show tickets?
Oh, yeah.
Are you ready to show those car show tickets? Well, I'll tell you what, whether you sell 2 tickets, or 10 tickets, or 20 tickets, or 50 tickets, or 100 tickets, do you know how many tickets we sold yesterday?
No.
We sold actually $4,000, right, Jimmy? Tickets. 4,000 tickets yesterday.
4,000 tickets?
Through this
I'm going crazy here with my minute. What can I say? So we have sold over 4,000 online tickets total. And that is by far the most we've ever done. So, we sell tickets to help programs like PIMA JTEC. We sell tickets to help great programs like Make Way for Books. And if you sell by September 9th,
whoa,
right, September 9th, remember that. If you sell 50 tickets, $250, you get the wonderful cooling tower.
Whoa.
I would demonstrate it right now, but I ran out of time. Let's go sell tickets.
Is that online only or any tickets?
Any tickets that you sell.
Okay.
Yes.
By September 9th, 50 tickets, $250 worth. Let's go get them.
Good job, Joe. And good job, Julie. And Danielle. We're going to talk about the auction coming up.
Are we coming up? Do we need to come?
I'll wear my mask.
You want us to be around? Where are we going?
Right up here.
Ah,
Right up here.
it's good to see everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I'm President Jen, your rock star. Thank you for all that you've done for this club and for us and keeping us on track of moving forward. You're awesome. Okay, so Jeannie and I are the co-chairs for the Friday night auction, which is no longer a Friday night auction. So it was a little bit like musical chairs when this all started to happen because Jeannie had come up with a very brilliant idea to do an online auction before the call had been made whether we were going to do the car show or not. Unfortunately, when the car show canceled, we were still the people standing in line and they were like, great idea, you guys keep going. So, Jeannie here has done some seriously heavy lifting. She has come up with the online platform, she's done all the work on this, and we really need help. Roger Harwell has been helping Jeannie as well. Jeannie's also doing online ticket sales. So what we need right now is we need everyone to reach out in a kind of strange world to businesses to see what we can get from people, from Rotarians, from other businesses, anything that we can action on. The other challenge that we're having right now is normally we'd have until the 16th of October to bring in these items. The auction is a month long, so we have 3 weeks left. Right now, we currently have 50 items, we need at least 125. I'd love to do more because we're gonna try to make up for as much of the loss that we're having for food, for alcohol, for VIP, so whatever we can do, you know, all ships rise with the tide. So whatever y'all can do on this would be amazing, we'd really appreciate it. And give Jeannie a huge pat on the back because she is a rock star in her own.
I don't have a job, and so this gives me real purpose. But anyway, I did want to just try to stress that you have items you want to donate, you can actually go to this website, it's listed there. You can click that button. Several people did it this morning after getting the email that sent out. So thank you, Gary and Cindy, for doing that. And then the next slide. I just want to show you that when you go to a page, you can go out there anytime now to see what is available already out there. But it will actually show what each item is. It's donated, it tells by category. We need your help. I also want to stress at the top, there's a little yellow part highlighted underneath what it says. It says register to bid. We can have 125 things out there, but if nobody registers to bid and puts in their credit card, we won't succeed. So that is the second part of this. Once we get everything out there and launch it September 16th, in 3 weeks, then we need to be sure that you get out to register to bid and refer your friends to bid. And then I think it's going to be really cool. And you can help with calling donors, needing a category. There's some cool ideas, but we need some people to make the call. So thank you. I think my name is Armin.
Here's an example of an auction item that I'm going to give that any people that have a business or have a specific skill, I'm going to get 2 people out to the end for 2 hours to take a tour of the flight line in the simulator. You got those that, you got a special skill, you're a business owner, give up 2 hours of your time and show people your business, or show them how you can sew, or mow a lawn, or whatever it is that you're good at, make that an auction item. $10 is $10 if someone wants to learn how to mow a lawn. So hopefully take that to thought and let Jeannie know what you can donate to the auction. Thank you.
So I got an email this morning, opened that, and it was really easy to put 2 items up on that auction for bid. So just get on there, donate a Starbucks gift card, whatever it is, and I think that's it, Jen.
Thanks, Gabby. I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that can think of something to help out the club and JTED and our efforts to get this auction earning the big bucks for us. Okay, that's going to be a wrap for today. So I would like to thank all of you attending, both virtually here. Thank you, our prospective member, Lynn, for attending. 2 brief announcements. If you guys would like to make a donation to our scholarships, there's a cup for your money at the back at the registration table. Also, please remember to turn in these name badges into the basket at the registration table. We recycle. Happy birthday, Jen. Welcome to the club, Chris. We're glad to have you. At next week's meeting, I think it's another Zoom meeting, we're going to be experts. We have Lindsay Parson with High Desert Health. And now, please join me for our toast. Let's raise our glass to the art and the artists who inspire us through words, music, paint, clay, and the like. Here's to artists who use their imaginations or experiences to inspire or relate to each of us in ways that make us feel understood, blessed, nostalgic, inspired, or whole, giving us a precious gift through their art. All right, we're adjourned.